Everyone. Hello, everyone.
Hello, madam. Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
I can hear you clearly.
Wonderful. So, welcome everyone. Tell us where you are joining us from. Hello, everyone. It is 7:01 now, and we are about to begin. You're welcome to our webinar series. From Genius Hub. And today we have a very exciting topic: how MSMEs can bounce back after setback. It promises to be a very exciting and informative session, and we welcome all of us. My name is Obehi Okpeabede, CEO Genius Hub. Tell us where you are joining in from. Tell us in the chat room as you join us. If you are just joining us, you're welcome to the Genius Hub webinar series. And today's engagement will be based on MSMEs, how MSMEs can bounce back after setbacks. You will agree with me that this topic is very much in need and is timely with all that is happening around us. Welcome, everyone. Tell us where you are joining us from. Genius Hub welcomes all of us to our webinar series tagged today, how MSMEs can bounce back after setbacks.
Hello, can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
So I don't know. Why is my picture not showing? What's happening to my video?
Just turn on
Okay,
your camera. We'll
I've
see
done that
you.
already.
Welcome to everyone who is just joining us. We welcome all of us to our webinar series, How MSMEs Can Bounce Back After Setbacks. This is our topic for today, and we promise that it's going to be a very exciting and wonderful moment with all of us. Genius Hub is a human capital development organization. We're interested in the holistic approach and well-being of the human person. We're interested in being a part of the solution. At Genius Hub, we use communication for development as our approach. And we are big on MSMEs, medium scale, small and medium scale enterprises, and how they can scale and bounce back. Today, we are bringing you one of the best in the industry who will be doing justice to this topic. So while we're waiting for the rest people to join us, you're welcome. Tell us where you are joining us from. You're watching on Facebook. You are on Facebook and all other social media outlets. You're on YouTube. Just tell us where you are joining us from. We welcome the Chief Innovation Officer of Genius Hub, Isimeme White, who is joining us right about now. And before she fully joins us, we will be reading out the profile of Isimeme White, who is the Chief Innovation Officer at Genius Hub. Isimeme White is a social impact entrepreneur, entrepreneurship development socialist, specialist, and purpose clarity coach, whose work cuts across many youths, girl child, and women initiative in various sectors, including socioeconomic development programs for women and youths, community development, girl child rights, migrant rehabilitation and reintegration, and human trafficking, education, leadership and public service, local content development initiative, and so on. MSME has over 26 years of extensive experience in government, NGO partnership, entrepreneurship, community advocacy, and engagement, leveraging technology to promote the growth of MSEs and women-led businesses through trainings and consultancies on digital marketing, graphic designs, product photography and e-commerce, market systems development, project management, case management crisis, research monitoring and evaluation, counseling and mentoring, as well as in institution and community-based organization that provide services to young people. It is worthy of note that MSME White has worked on several projects with a focus on human trafficking and irregular migration, sexual and gender-based violence, and other trauma-related issues, providing psychosocial support, reducing youth unemployment through skill and entrepreneurship development, product manufacturing, and mass production. Through her visionary leadership, Genius Hub has facilitated skills training and entrepreneurship development programs for over 3,500 beneficiaries and counting, including youths, women, and returned irregular migrants and survivors of human trafficking in Edo State. Genius Hub has also established regional offices in Lagos and Kano states. MSME has a BSc in microbiology from the prestigious University of Benin, a certification in monitoring and evaluation for RIPA International UK, and certificates in project management and policy development and advocacy from the University of Washington. Everyone, that is about the host, MSME White, who is our host today. We welcome MSME White, the host of today's webinar, How MSMEs Can Bounce Back After Setbacks. In case you are just joining us, this is the topic that we are going to be doing justice to. And right about now, we will be quickly introducing our guest speaker for today, Joyce Daniels, a giant in the world of MSMEs. Joyce Daniels is a social engineering practitioner, as well as a corporate trainer and coach in various disciplines. She has been in the industry for about 16 years. She has worked with some well-established training companies in Nigeria, including Tupent Limited, Macarius Training, and the Stalwart Group. In the course of her career, she has trained senior management and entry-level staff of reputable organizations such as Stanbic IBTC, Union Bank, Fidelity Bank, Citibank, Central Bank of Nigeria, Main One Cable Company, Coca-Cola International, InterSwitch, United African Insurance Brokers, Merchant Bank, Niger State government, Telegram group, and a host of others, NLNG, and many more. I can see the smile on her face. She holds a BSc Anatomy from the University of Port Harcourt, Nigeria. And so we have our host, Isimeme White, now. And I am happy to say that we also have our guest speaker, Joyce Daniels. So let's give them a rowdy welcome as we hand over to the host, Isimeme White.
Woo! Hi, everyone. Good evening, everyone. I am personally very, very excited because we've been looking for a special day to have this giant woman that has a very powerful art, a woman that I personally admire so much, very eloquent, calm. In fact, I can continue to call all her quality. She's someone who is extremely passionate about development in young people. And beyond just young people, she's also someone who wants to see how the MSME community can actually scale. And for us at Junior Sub, this is very important to us because we know running business in Nigeria is tough. If I'm running business in any country is tough, but running it in Nigeria can also be tougher. But people have failed. People have gotten discouraged. People started their businesses, one or two discouragements. Some even took loan and they can't even pay back. Why some, because they do not even understand what it takes to run a business. Some who have experience to run businesses even sometimes make mistakes. And government policy can also be a reason why some of these businesses fail. It can be natural disaster. It can be anything can happen. But how do you bounce back? How do we help you to bounce back? So if you are that entrepreneur, that business owner who has been so broken, who has gotten to a level of like, you know what, I am done, or who have given up already in running his or our businesses. We are here for you today. We want you to bounce back. How can MSME bounce back after a step back? That is the topic for today. And we were very, very intentional when we picked this topic some weeks back. We have as personal session, we provide psychosocial support for women, MSMEs who are broken because they are finding it difficult to bounce back. And today, we have an expert, an industry expert who is extremely qualified, passionate to do justice to this topic. Please pick up your jotter, pick up your pen, be open-minded. The solution in the house. So if you are just joining us, this is Genius Up Live, and this is Isimeme White, and your host for today's event. We welcome all of you. We are very excited. We are very happy that we are doing this with you. So permit me to invite our beautiful, eloquent speaker, calculated, intelligent. In fact, Joyce, we are grateful. Joyce Daniels, if you know her, you know you know. We are extremely grateful that we have you live on our Junior Sub program. You have the
My
floor.
darling sister, I
Please
am
go
so
ahead.
grateful for this privilege. Thank you for having me. And thank you to Obehi. Thank you to the rest of your team, Faithful, all of you who make things happen behind the scene. Thank you so much. And welcome
Thank
to
you.
everyone from Niger State, Lagos State, Edo State, Plateau State, River State. I think those are the states I've seen so far. I've seen Abuja as well. We're so glad that you could be here. So, bouncing back. My first foray into talking about bouncing back was in 2020, COVID year. My job, primarily, I'm a master of ceremonies. That's what I have been. This is my 16th year. But during COVID, first of all, I was relieved that I could rest. I had never taken a break, taken a holiday or a, what do you call it, vacation. Then COVID hits, and I was like, wow, what a blessing. I can rest. The first week or first 2 weeks of the lockdown, I was just lying down, sleeping. I mean, the first week, I think there was time I slept straight for almost 2 full days without eating. I was just
Wow.
resting. And then people started calling me, social media, phone calls. That period, a lot of video calls. That's when video calls went wild. Oh, Joyce, people were sad. My business is breaking down. My this is crashing. And I realized that a lot of people were going through much more than I was. I was grateful for the break. I didn't understand the extent to which some people's businesses were crashing. And the more the year progressed, the more I realized people were reaching out to me to help them adjust their minds because some of them just couldn't come back. Some of them were just praying the world would end. So what I took away from that was, first of all, I became a coach, a mindset coach, and my forte was what I call bounce back ability, the ability to bounce back after a setback since 2020. My second takeaway, which is the first point I would like to make today, and please, I would like you to write it in the chat if you can hear me, is that businesses do not bounce back. If you heard me, please write it. Businesses do not bounce back. People bounce back. It is people who bounce back. It is people who can drive business. But your business on its own is not an entity to bounce back without human intervention. So allow me today to be dealing with the human angle to bouncing back. And I'm still waiting to see some chats. Okay, well, I know that on StreamYard there can be some delays between when I speak and when people hear and when they. Yes, I'm seeing your responses are begun to drop in. Yes, thank you. I've seen you, Uche, Joy, Amina, and Adeswa and Co. Thank you. Businesses do not bounce back, people do. So let's speak to people. Let's speak to you who is listening today, either live or in the replay. Let's speak to Chiamaka. Let's speak to Godfrey Vie. Let's speak to Glory. Let's speak to Boma. Let's speak to Pedro Chicha Ola. Let's speak to individuals who are here who own businesses. Let's speak to Omo. Let's speak to Joyce. Let's speak to Isimeme. I have this thing here with me that I use in packing my hair. Scrunchies, like we call it, or what else do we call it? Hair packer.
Hair packer. You're right.
Hair packer.
I call it hair packer.
Thing that bounces back. It's a big one. I bought it big like this. Some are very tiny, but mine was big like this. And I can stretch it and allow it to bounce back to its original size. So every time we think about bouncing back, I want us to imagine a rubber band or a hair packer, a scrunch like this. Because understand that not every Raphael, not I am calling your name Raphael. Not every material can bounce back. I cannot stretch glass like this and it will bounce back, except, of course, under a certain temperature and pressure. When glass is being produced, for it to stretch, it has to be at a certain heat. But it might not bounce back, it might just stretch and stay there. But for something to bounce back, to come back to where it was before, it must have a certain kind of texture. It must be a certain kind of material. It is difficult to stretch wood and have it bounce back. It's difficult to stretch cotton fabric and have it bounce back. But if you stretch like jersey or t-shirt fabric, even t-shirt fabric, if you stretch it too much, it may not bounce back. It might stretch and not return, right? Not everything can bounce back. So not every business that has a setback can bounce back. Why? the person who was responsible for the business was not yet in a state that could bounce back. So I'd like to start from talking about the factors that can help people become bounce backable. Please write that word in the chat. So even before you ever have a setback, I want to ask, are you bounce backable? If you have a setback tomorrow, now that price of petrol has gone up, prices of other things are going up. Dollar, I understand, went up yesterday and even today. Well, it's been fluctuating so badly. So many things are changing. Prices of things will change. Are you bounce back able? So let's highlight some of the characteristics or the traits of people who have the ability to bounce back. For everyone that I mentioned, please, I would like you to write it in the chat because I'm not sharing any screens with us or slides. I'm just talking with us. And if you can hear me, say, I hear you. If it's making sense to you, write in the chat, makes sense. Or you can just write MS. MS stands for make sense. So number one quality for people who can bounce back is the ability to stretch. Ability to stretch. If you cannot stretch, it's difficult for you to bounce back. Bounce back ability, the other word for it is resilience. The ability to stretch and return. So the ability to stretch. What does stretching entail? Well, this is number one, the ability to what? Stretch. Wherever you are, if your hands are free, just do that thing with your hand, ability to stretch. How can you become stretchable? What increases the ability to stretch? Open-mindedness. Having an open mind enough to listen to other people, enough to listen to ideas, open mind to hear before you shut down. Some people do not at all have an open mind. The moment you say to them, let's look at it this way, they, no, no, that's not what they taught us. No, no, this is it. This is how I am. This is what. It's like this or no. It's my way or the highway. But an open mind will say, talk to me, I'm listening, and I have questions. An open mind can also be very closely linked to a curious mind. So when you write open mind, you can put /curious, asking questions, wanting to know, wanting to dig deeper without apology. Some of us are afraid to ask questions because we don't want people to judge us. We'll get to that where we talk a little bit about fear of what people say. If you will ever bounce back from a setback, and if you've already gone through a setback, stick with me. Ask yourself right now, how open is my mind? How open is my mind to ask questions, to seek new solutions, to try things that I haven't tried before, to engage people that I haven't engaged before? Because I need to stretch that will increase the ability to bounce back. How open is my mind? Thank you for those who are writing. How open is my mind? Am I willing? How do I behave every time I hear something new? Do I shut it down or do I want to know more? So we're all doing a self-examination right now. When somebody brings a new idea to me, oh, Genius Hub says tomorrow we're going to talk about this. Do I say, I don't want to hear about that, I beg? Or do I say, well, let me go and listen in just in case? And good enough, I want to believe that everybody who is here today is the kind of person who has an open mind. You want to know, you're curious enough to try and find out. So we're still on number one, which is the ability to stretch. And we said the things that make for ability to stretch are open-mindedness, willingness to ask questions, willingness to learn, willingness to grow, willingness to work with people, willingness to change. And therefore, I'm going to take what Benin City Film Festival is saying here. The ability to self-examine. It's difficult to stretch yourself if you can't examine yourself. So I've mentioned about 4 different things, but please, I will want to recap so you don't miss what I'm saying. Godfrey, Godfrey, thank you. So that you don't miss what I'm saying. We are on number 1. And number 1 trait of people who can bounce back, people who have the ability to bounce back, number 1 trait is, what did we say? The ability to stretch. Stretching comes from, well, I'm mentioning about 5 things: having an open mind, being curious, willingness to learn, willingness to grow, willingness to change. These are the 5 I'm mentioning right here. And then I took what Godfrey said, the ability to examine self. That's 6 now. All these enable you stretch. If you're not able to examine yourself, it's difficult. So some years ago, now this was not a setback per se. Something happened to me. You know what? Let me use another example. During COVID, now I told you that initially I was very glad that I had time to rest. But as the months wore on, I realized that my business was also being affected. So understand, I had money saved. So financially, I wasn't dry, but new work wasn't coming in per se. And so I saw that, oh, yes, organizations, companies were asking us to now MC events virtually, but they weren't quite meeting the numbers. They were not as frequent as before. And I was not as busy as I was used to being busy. Now, this was some level of setback. So, in examining myself, asking questions, being curious, observing, I began to notice the trend of what was going on around me. People were constantly sending me messages. Oh, Joyce, what can I do? And I will speak with them on the phone 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, video call. After a while, I said, wait, hold on. This is a business right in front of me. Can I stretch myself a little to start coaching people and asking for money in return? Now, that's a stretch because I had not done it before. Before then, I used to just hold my microphone, climb a stage, speak, and come back. Oh, wait, hold on. Can I stretch myself to begin to learn what it takes to be a coach? So I paid for a program to teach me how to be a coach, whilst already accepting clients that wanted me to coach them. Now, that is a level of bouncing back. If you're with me so far, please write in the chat, I am with you. The ability to stretch. What else can help us become bounce backable? Thank you. I see I'm with you. What else can help us become bounce backable? Yes, I see your responses. I'm with you. Yes, thank you. Yes, keep them coming. Because I can't see your faces when I see your chats, it helps me. Yes, thank you so much. I'm seeing your responses. Thank you all. What else can make us more bounce backable? Number 2 now. Number 2 is very closely linked with number 1. And what's number 2? Being flexible. Being flexible. What you go call and lege. I think beneath people don't have that lege. When you call, I say just they lege. They move you like this, you move, they'll shake you like this. Just you're flexible. Then twist you twist. Then twist you this way, you go. What allows somebody be flexible? The most powerful tool for flexibility, in my opinion, and please, I didn't take this from any notes. I'm teaching from my experience and things that I have put together. If I write a book on this now, put my name as author, and I do copyright, it becomes my material, Abi. major thing that helps us, in my opinion, become flexible is knowledge. And remember, knowledge cannot come without being open minded. That's why I said number two is very closely linked to number one. Flexibility means I move this way, I move that way without breaking. Someone will say, "Oh, but Joyce, how could you become a coach?" That's being flexible. But being flexible is only aided by the quality and quantity of knowledge that I have. Else, I would do what? I would break. So ask yourself with me today, how much knowledge do I have about the things around me? So let's assume you have a poultry business and something happens, maybe one sickness, one flu happens, and all the birds disappear. Has this kind of thing happened before? Many times to business owners. We dey hear am. One kind rain will fall. Within 4 days, all the birds have some sort of illness. Within another 5 days, more than 80% of the birds are dead. We've seen it over and over and over again. My mom, I think, even had an experience like that many years ago when she ran her poultry. What happens? How do I bounce back? We start asking questions. What's that? Being curious. That's, we want to stretch ourselves now. And in asking questions, you get what? Knowledge that can help you become what? Flexible.
Yes.
So somebody might tell you, "Oh, this is it. We can start the farm, the poultry again like this. We can do this like this. We can do this like that." Somebody might even give you one kind of information and say, "See, oh, I've experienced being in the livestock business and selling feed. And I realized that selling feed is more profitable at this time of the year because of this, that, and the other." Some new knowledge has come. And then you start digging more. Tell me more. For real, this and that. And the person says, "Well, it doesn't have to be forever. You might sell feed for now. Then when the weather changes because of the location you are in, you go back to having your birds." And you go, "Oh, really? Is it possible? Who else has done it?" You see, if you're not flexible, if you're not getting the right knowledge, you may not be able to bounce back because we were broken. The material that cannot bounce back is usually the material that breaks. Baba Yemi is going through it right now, facing it right now. Please, let me also put a caveat. No solution is absolutely 100% foolproof. None under the face of the sun. No solution is foolproof. That's why we need the flexibility to keep asking questions, trying new things, even with our limited resources, especially money, then time, then, of course, energy. If this is making sense to you, please write in the chat MS. Makes sense. I know we have questions. I'd even spoken with my sister AC for us to try and keep it conversational. So after my next point, I'll leave it so that we can talk together for a bit before we take other questions from people. Is that okay?
Yeah. We have a lot of questions for you. So
Okay,
I
so
just want you to finish.
yes,
I just want you to finish this part.
Okay.
Then we start asking you. We have a lot of questions to ask you.
Fantastic.
Well done.
I'll make my last point, but it's one point, but it has different parts to it. So if we're going to bounce back, please understand. Thank you. I'm seeing your responses. Understand that bouncing back is easier in the place of calm, not fear. So, the techniques to learn how to manage fear and panic, we will want to keep to a barest minimum, because fear is usually one of the greatest enemies of bouncing back. Besides fear, the other greatest enemy of bouncing back, two of them. For me, one is fear, the other one is lack of knowledge. Fear and lack of knowledge. And many times one leads to the other. Because you don't have enough knowledge, you're afraid. And sometimes because you're afraid, you don't seek knowledge. You see, they feed off each other. So we want to understand that as I hand over for us to have these questions, Setbacks are normal. In fact, on an average, people have up to 10 to 20 setbacks per day. Per day. Per day. I give you an example. You're going out to work, you're going by public transport, you jump into your bus. When you get to your office, you realize you left your key at home. What's that? Setback. And then you start trying to find your way back home to pick your office key, to come back to the office, and then maybe you realize you dropped your phone somewhere. What's that again? Setback. Whilst you were running into the house, you hit your leg on the gate, and you know how it is so painful when you hit that tiny toe, that very tiny toe. When you hit it, and sometimes the pain go reach brain. That you will sit down and pain. What's that again? Setback. Then God help you, you finally get your key, you pick your phone, you get back to the office, and then you now want to use the toilet, and that your office area. And this toilet I'm talking about is not number one, no, it's number two. You now go and look for bush. Look, these are the things we face on a daily basis. You open the toilet that is supposed to be for all the staff, all the people on that block of shops. You can't enter. You now go and look for bush. As you are there, you go to tell yourself, see me, this kind of life. What's that again? Setback. There are different levels to it, small, small ones that we face every day. So it's okay. I want us to see that many of us already overcome setbacks every day. If you give yourself some credit about how you already overcome, what does it do? It builds your confidence for the bigger setbacks that everybody goes through at least a few times in a lifetime. I'll leave it here for now so that we deal with all our questions.
Thank you so much. Thank you, honestly. While you were, sharing, a lot of things were going through my mind. No one MSME, I said no one. He couldn't allow you Dangote. No, in fact, every successful entrepreneur have gone through. In fact, we've all gone through that phase of setback. But what differentiates you from others is the decision you take.
Yeah.
And that's it. That, in fact, as we were just talking, I remember one major setback I had when I started my business. In fact, my first business, I had a grocery shop, a very big grocery shop at the time, and I was doing very well. And I was robbed twice within a week. Now I have to pack the few things that were left and look for a smaller shop. And the fear of how can I cope with the stigma of knowing that you started very well and you were doing very well? How do you cope with responses from people? What exactly will you be doing? Where are you starting from? But I took a decision. I rented a small shop and I started from the small shop again. So this is me also sharing.
Yeah.
That one of the two that I've helped me personally is what we call life skills, which is one of the skills we offer here at Junior Soul. So if you are listening to me, one secret to navigate through life, especially when things get tough, is to remember your value, is to remember who you are, is to remember that there's hope. So the difference between you who are taking a strong decision today, who is determined to fight him or herself to become best version of themselves, is the one that decided to say, you know what, I will face it. Like our professor just said, you need to be calm. I took that very seriously. So that means the environment has a role to play.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
So you need to be calm, and the environment also need to be conducive for your calmness. So now that brings me to this question. What are the best practices? You've been on ground for a while. You have met all kinds of the big, the rich. You have watched people who started from zero, became big. And we have also seen those people who started big, who became big and came down drastically.
Mm.
Some are still struggling to pick up. Some are not even, they're not even there anymore. Some have even committed suicide. Some have given up and say, you know what? I am done. This is not for me. What are the
Mm.
best practices that you think our MSME listen to you this on this live program? What are the best
Mm.
practices you think they can start to adopt?
Mm.
How can they go from where they are? Because the truth is, you may not be facing any challenges now, but we are not saying you will face. But I'm just saying, it's always good to be ready. It's always good to
You
be
will
prepared.
face. It's life. You will face. It will
So
come.
how emotionally, how psychologically are we ready for those challenges? So now I will give my professor the floor. My professor, have the floor immediately. Oh, while waiting for her to come back, how do you bounce back really? And what will be the strategies of bouncing back? Like she said something very important at the beginning of our presentation. She said businesses do not bounce back, but people bounce back. So we have our back. So, like I said, what are the best practices that we need to start adopting? And we need to start developing ourselves. We need to start preparing ourselves emotionally, physically. You know, how do we get prepared for this?
All right.
What do you think of that? Or what do you think could be the best practice for our
Thank you.
MSME?
The answer is in something you mentioned earlier, which was life skills, skills for living, skills for creating networks, the kinds of people around you, because they will make your environment conducive for growth or for regression, which we hope not. So, identifying people who are like you on the journey of life, people who are hopeful, positive, forward thinking, knowledge seekers, people who are filled with encouragement, people who have the can do spirit. Now,
Hmm.
please do not look for people who have these things if you are not one of them. Don't go and become the Jonah that would cause them to crash. So let me flip that and say it means we need to develop the can do spirit. We need to be people who are positive minded. We need to be people who believe in creating networks, people who believe in hope, and I dare say people who have an anchor in a higher being. For some of us, it's God. For some of us, it's whatever name you call it, but that being that is higher than yourself. I call it an anchor. So, one of life's skills is having an anchor. An anchor could be God, an anchor could be your name. For example, the meaning of my name, one of the meanings of my name, Joyce, is leader. So even when I am down, I say to myself, Joyce, you cannot stay down because there are some people who will not go forward except you lead them. To get up, Joyce. It gives me power. Somebody's name here is, and everybody, what does your name mean? If your name cannot give you strength to get up from your chair, please change your name. Imagine if your name is God's power. That is, it means you will say, I have the power of God with me. Get up. Isi Meme, what does your name mean?
Yes, my name
Obegi,
is
what does your name
Favor. Good
mean?
for me. That means everywhere go. In fact, I see every opportunity
Good.
as good. Good for me.
Good
You
for
see,
me.
maybe
Good
outside it
for
is
me.
good. Everywhere I go to
It
is
is
good.
good. If I go, it is good. So you see, even when you want to step out and something bad has happened, you say, if I go out tomorrow, it will be good for me. Something bad may have happened today, but if I go out tomorrow, it will be good for me. In fact, even inside this bad, what can I learn? You see, that's a life skill. It has come from a place of having a good anchor. I'm saying different things at the same time, so I'm hoping that people are taking notes. People are taking notes. One of the one of the skills, the life skills. Okay, before I go to other life skills, let me talk about two other anchors. Another anchor could be your goals, your expectations, your desire. You want certain things done in your life, and therefore, every time you remember those goals, you get up. It gives you power to move. I had said that I will build one of the biggest poultry farms in this community within the next 15 years. This is only year 4. I cannot fall down now. Even though all these things are happening to me, this is only year 4. I had said in 15 years. So this is year 4. I'm getting up. Let me go. 1, 2, 3, 4 has happened. Okay, let's go to year 5 and see what happens. I cannot give up until I get to year 15. Now that will now make you more curious. You start seeking the right knowledge, asking questions and implementing, but it came from an anchor. What was that anchor? In this case, your goals. Another anchor could be your past. It could be that in the past I failed so badly, so I can't afford to fail again. No. So rather than give up, I would ask, what made me fail before? Then I failed because I was not prioritizing. Then I failed because I had no savings. Then I failed because I didn't give attention to security. Then I failed because I didn't give attention to what do you call it, insurance. Oh, then I failed because I did not get the right skill. Then I failed. You see, so failure is no longer failure. It is now a learning point, and you can only learn if you're curious enough to ask questions, if you're open-minded enough to look at your failure and say, what can I learn from this failure? So your anchor can be your past. It can also be that you succeeded in the past and you say, but I did so well 5 years ago. What happened that made me do so well? I did so well when I was keeping inventory right. I did so well when I was always putting money in the bank. I did so well when I was... You will go and list all those things and now ask, am I still doing those things? Now you might say, no, I stopped doing them because I became comfortable. Or rather than hiring a qualified accountant or bookkeeper to work with, I started giving it to my younger cousin because he was in my house and he did fine work. Did he have the skill? I don't know. But if you don't help your people from the village, now they go say you be bad person. So I said, make I help him. I told the boy to come here and be keeping work for me in the shop and be writing things in the book. Did he have the skill? Does she have the skill? And you go, this was where I made the mistake. Rather than me putting in people who have no skill into my business because I want to do good for my family, let me start removing 2% from my profit, only 2%, and that's what I'll be giving to people as help. But anybody that must work here must be qualified. Where does that come from? You had open mind? You were curious enough to look at your past success or past failure to analyze it because your anchor was your past. So I've mentioned different anchors. Your anchor could be God. Your anchor could be your name. Your anchor could be your goals, your future. Your anchor could be your past. And all these anchors can help you express life skills of building networks, seeing people who are doing what you do. And rather than going to meet them and say, hey, I want you to mentor me, please, I'm putting it out there. Many times when you tell people that thing, it doesn't help. When it's somebody, oh, please be my mentor. No. Hey, Madam Isimeme, oh, I love attending your programs. Thank you so much. Please, I have a question. I hope at your convenience, you'll be able to answer it for me. I would be willing to make a phone call if it's convenient for you. You can send an email. You can respond here anytime it's convenient for you. Please, ma, what 2 things will you advise me because I am going through this and that and that? I would be grateful to hear from you. she's more likely to respond to you because you were specific. You didn't come and say, ah, Madam Isimeme, I want you to be my mentor. What does it mean? She will now say, with all the busyness that I am busy, now come and add somebody to be. No, no, no. What is your question? Oh, I have this problem. Sometimes they will even say, ah, man, the problem, there are too many. It's just that village people are worrying me. And she's like, okay, you need native doctor for that one. It's not me. Because your question wasn't specific enough. Finally, on this question, the ability to identify the right help per time. I think that's also a life skill which we can convert now into a business skill, an MSME skill. Right help per time might require you to be a part of a chamber of commerce at some point. You must be registered with an organization, maybe like Genius Hub, where you can get information. You might need to join a particular mastermind. You might need to join some group. You might need to be looking out for who is offering what kind of grants to what kinds of businesses every day, every week, every month. You must be constantly searching for keywords because you want to identify the right kind of help. Sometimes it's not even money we need. Sometimes it's knowledge of what is happening today. So sometimes you need to put aside a budget to attend a new training, a new course, attend an online live event by Genius Hub because you will hear something that possibly will propel you to the next level. Identifying the right kind of help. And more often than not, it is the quality of information you get that determines the help. Sometimes the information is, it might still be about money, but the quality of information. There was a time you shared something with me sometime about brave women that was giving grants to certain people, and I shared it on my network. And I think one person made it. Oh, finally, I think one business made it. But you see, that was the quality of information she needed to hear at that time. I'll leave it there for now, and we'll go. I hope this helps answer that question.
Thank you so, so much. So setback has its own advantages. One of the advantages is that you become experienced.
Oh, yes.
To expose you to new opportunity if you turn your pains into gain. This is me telling you from experience, turn your pains into gain. So we open the floor for the audience to ask that question. I saw some questions earlier. So let's check, let's start looking at the questions so that we start responding to them one after the other.
Okay.
Obey, are there questions at your end?
Yeah, I'm just scrolling through now. I'll find
Okay.
it shortly.
So while we're waiting for those questions,
Yes,
please. I realized one thing recently, that MSMEs see the challenges they face. Some have seen those challenges as an opportunity to solve their problem. Let me I don't know how to explain this now, but I mean, the ones that are down, the ones that are not down have taken advantage of that as a business. They become therapists, they become coaches, they become problem solver to them.
Yes.
So all of this has also created opportunity for some people.
Yes.
And for me, it is a learning process.
Oh, yes.
And it will only be a learning process for all of us.
Oh, yes.
Obey, if you are there, let me know. I saw some questions scrolling earlier. Obey, you can go ahead, Joy, so that when the question comes, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. That's a point I would like to make really is about well, it's still about, I think it's still about life skills, but maybe I should
No,
say
life skills,
biz,
life skill
biz,
is
business
magic.
skills, Because remember, I said businesses don't bounce back. It is people that bounce back. Because there's
Yeah.
no business that is living and breathing without its people. So, a major thing that can help us bounce back is the ability to prioritize.
Mm.
It's a life skill,
Yeah.
determining what is important and what is not at every point in time. And we all make the mistakes. We make them on a daily basis. Remember,
Yeah.
mistakes are not things we should be afraid of.
In
Mistakes are things we
fact,
should make fast, learn from, move on.
you are right.
Adjust. It's people who are usually afraid to make mistakes that don't go very far.
That's true.
Check people who go far in life when they show you their compendium of mistakes. Because mistakes are stepping stones. If you don't try, you won't know. It is from experiments we get theories. Is when a theory is tested, it becomes a law, or it is taken back to the drawing board. But it must be tested first. So many experiments, so many mistakes. Prioritizing is a
Mm.
skill, and the reason why I say it's a skill is because nobody is born with the ability to prioritize. It's something we learn and we get better at. So a
Yeah.
skill is something you learn over time. You practice, practice, practice. You get the knowledge, you practice it, and then you become better at it. What is
Okay.
important to me right now in business right now, you might see somebody say, oh, I need a shop, I need a shop, I need a shop. And by the time you check what this person is selling at that time, considering maybe this person has two young children who are not yet of school age, or this person doesn't have a vehicle, the distance between where he lives and where he wants to get the shop are so far, you start asking all those questions in between. Does he really need a shop? Does she really need a shop? Or do they need a place to sell from? Two different things. Do
Yeah.
I need a place to sell from, or do I need a shop? By the time you ask these questions, you might find that the person doesn't need a shop. The person needs an online platform. And this online platform might not be going foul. These days, you're seeing what people are doing with their WhatsApp status. And from that WhatsApp status, the person understands how to receive money, how to confirm payments, knows who all the delivery and dispatch riders are, what the prices are, and the person might stay within their home, save money for rent, storage space. Rather, they will hire help to look over, watch the children, or help with the children whilst they stay home to deal with inventory. I'm just using a very random example, but I'm
Okay.
talking about the skill to
Yeah.
prioritize.
So,
So there's a
thank you
question
so
in
much,
mind.
Joyce. So,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Joy. Before we ask this question, I just want to quickly add my voice to this.
Yes, please.
Uh, we can be intentional building our self-esteem again. We can also be deliberate about building our emotional intelligence because you keep building it.
Yes.
We know a lot has happened, but we have to just be intentional about building them. Then one thing that worked for me, this is me now. What really worked for me most of the time when I'm broken is that I take time, I practice gratitude. I take time to write out what I'm grateful for. I take
Yeah.
time to practice it every day. And I also have realized that what I'm grateful for, all the things I'm grateful to are the things I get attracted to. So whatever you are grateful for are those things that you get attracted to. So we need to be deliberate.
Yes, we
In
do.
all of this, you are somebody's prayer point. That is the honest.
Very
So that
true.
used to be the biggest, the richest in Africa. But just few months ago or few weeks ago, it's done. That's a major setback for him. Will you not say it's a setback for you? Because even with that, we will confidently say Dangote is a wealthy man. Now, counting your blessings will help you be open-minded to new opportunities.
Yes, very
And it will
true.
help you have, it will even make you more have peace and freedom. Freedom to be more innovative, freedom to accept the mistakes, freedom to take responsibility, freedom to restart all over. So these were some of the things that helped me, and these are the tools or tips that have been helping me. So I'm just sharing. So take note of all of this. Practice gratitude every day.
Mm.
Affirmation. What do you say to yourself every day?
Mm.
I remember when I was removed from a payroll, I was broken to the extent that I got pregnant, I had twins, I lost them, I became more broken. But what kept me was the affirmation. Write down your affirmation. Prophesize as you use your mouth to confess positively.
Yeah.
I started saying, I am great. I deserve to be happy. I determine my happiness. I control, in fact, I said everything, I wrote them down. I started speaking to myself. I will stand in front of the mirror, I will speak to myself. And before, few months after, I bounced back. I bounced back and I became stronger.
Yeah.
Some of us are aware of this, my story. Some of you are aware of this, my story. And in that moment of my life,
Mm.
you have people tell you nothing good will come out from you this your idea.
Yeah.
And which is why I'm still going to use this opportunity to tell you, stop sharing your process, share your results. I don't have time to talk about my process. I want to do this. I don't. This I have done. I'm coming to share with you my results. Then your circle of influence. What are the people in your life? What are the people you look up to? What are the people you believe in? If these people are people who do not see anything good in you, come on, give them space because you need your mental health.
Yes, you do.
There's something we do in junior sub that we practice. It's part of our curriculum. Life
Okay.
skills is, in fact, you can't come to junior sub without going through our life skills. And for those of us who are not aware of what life skills are, they are skills to help you navigate through life. They are skills to give you clarity of purpose. They are skills to help you make an informed decision. So you see, you will all need these skills. We need it for our children and we need it for ourselves. The truth
Mm.
is, business is the business we run, it is you. It is the emotion, it is the feelings, is the mindset of yourself that run that business.
Very
So
true.
that
It's people.
everything is around you.
Mm.
So let's be intentional about who we share our process with. So why do you want to share? Why not look for professionals who you'll be more specific with, like she said.
Mm.
Be specific with what you want so that you can get specific solution. Just stop sharing your process. Just focus on your results. And let me tell you one secret today. It is in your practicing. It is your practicing bouncing back that help you become an expert.
Mm.
Some people will say, oh, because I'm not an expert, that is why I have said that. That is not true.
Practice, practice,
That is
practice.
not true.
Yeah.
I remember when I started my career, I remember when I said, you know what, I want to help MSME. It is when I started the process, it is when I started the journey. It is in the process I started understanding, I started learning, and I went
Mm.
back to school to have the understanding of the product, which is my business. So again, when you fall, manage to help yourself stand up. I want to ask you a question. Sometimes we fall and we don't have anybody around us to quickly help us up. But we
Mm.
manage to stand up.
Yes,
We
so.
manage to help ourselves up. But sometimes people come around to also help. But what is important here? You manage to stand up. But when you stand, maintenance of that position is also very important. So that is why you need to surround yourself with the right people. Expose your mind. so that you get attracted to positive new lifestyles. So affirmation, don't play with it. So let's quickly read the question. I'm sure you saw the question on the screen earlier.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, let me just
okay,
quickly read
good.
it. Let me
Okay,
just
go
quickly,
ahead.
whilst hoping that it has not already been answered. How can one manage the environment that one encounter these setbacks? Maybe at a workplace or a church organization. It hurts you whenever you find yourself among these persons that propel these setbacks. What can you do to help?
Thank you so much, Boma, for this question. And
How
it,
can one cope in such environment and among these persons?
yeah. So, two things that I would like to say. I always like to say two things. Number one,
Number one,
I always like to share from my personal experience. Yes, please, obey.
just doing your number one so that when you do number two, I tell you it's number two. So I wasn't stopping
Oh,
you.
okay,
Go ahead.
yes, yes, number one. Number one, Father, forgive them for they know not what they do. It has become a way of life for me. When somebody does something that hurts me, I it's almost uncontrollable. I just say, Father, forgive them for they know what they do. And then the next thing I say is just forgive. If this person knew better, they would do better. I've been through setbacks too, maybe not in business the way some people have, but in personal life setbacks. And then I realized that it was people. It is, if these people knew better, they would do better. Boma, that's a life skill. The ability to practice forgiveness without being asked for it. It is not easy. The same way it's not easy for a child to walk. Some children, some of us tried to walk for 2 whole years. We started trying to walk at maybe 10 months and we didn't start walking till 1 year, 10 months. Some of us did not walk till 1 year, 6 months. For some, it was, but well, does it matter now? No, because we started walking, right? And since we started walking, we haven't stopped. My point is, it wasn't hard, it wasn't easy for many of us to learn how to brush our teeth. We struggled, struggled, struggled. Our parents flogged us, shouted, shouted. Finally, we are brushing teeth now. Why? It has become a skill over time. If you know, if anybody here drives, remember when you told how it was when you started learning to drive, how difficult it was, especially if you were learning how to use a manual vehicle. Should I clutch first before stepping on the brake, before changing gear? Where should I indicate? Look left, look right, look left again. How do I reverse? Some of us even had accidents when we're learning how to drive. But today we can drive, put phone under our between ear and shoulder, be greeting the malam by the road, be calling out this and that. Yet you're still driving and you've not missed your way. You've not had any problem on the road, right? The same way, acquiring a new skill like forgiving before you are asked for forgiveness might be very uncomfortable at the beginning, but the more you do it, after a while it becomes a lifestyle, a life skill. That's one way. Practicing, forgive them for they know not what they do. If they knew better, they would do better. Number two, number two, draw boundaries, specific boundaries. And now boundaries require courage. Courage is propelled by the strength of your dream, the strength of your desire. Courage is an action word, the ability to do in spite of fear. So you're afraid of drawing boundaries, but you draw boundaries nonetheless. That's courage. Courage is required to draw boundaries. I hope everybody can still hear me. I know my network might have been fluctuating here and there. So even if they're at your workplace, they're in your church, they're in your family, you see them, you draw boundaries. It means you're saying this person, please excuse me, for some reason my phone, my laptop is not charging. Let me find out why. Okay, it's charging now. You draw boundaries. You say this person is my work colleague. Excuse me. This person is my work colleague. They didn't tie our umbilical cord together. Mine is to do my work here. These are the places where we meet. This is how we relate. You leave it right there. Draw boundaries. Excuse me. I'm hearing some funny sound where I plugged in my laptop and it's telling me that the laptop is low. Let me change the socket. I think this is better. Laptop is charging even though one light has gone off. Anyway, it's still bright enough everybody can see me. So draw boundaries, please, Boma, and every other person who is listening. Know that this person is my colleague. Sometimes we confuse colleagues with friends. You say he's my friend. He's not your friend. He's your colleague. She's not your friend. She's your supervisor. So remember the relationship and draw the boundary. Keep work where work should be. Sometimes we become friends with work colleagues and then they hurt us and we are so pained, like, she's my friend. Go back to the history. Before we became friends, we were colleagues. It was being colleagues that brought us here. So let's go back to being colleagues. Now, that's a skill. Anything that is called a skill means you take time to practice it until you know it. If not, we'll say it's a talent or a gift or a phase. A skill is something you practice until it becomes a lifestyle. But I hope these two, there are many more, and I'm sure some of the things we've said already are helpful, but these
Yeah.
two I think are very helpful. Advanced forgiveness and drawing boundaries within relationships. Very
Thank you
powerful.
so much. You have another question waiting for you from Joy
Joy,
Osaju.
Joy, my almost namesake. She says, are there any specific skills or training programs that MSMEs should focus on to enhance their ability to recover and thrive? Yes. Number one, stick with Genius Hub. Please write it in the chat. Number one, I said what? Stick with Genius Hub so that you learn the tools that make you the kind of entity that has the ability to bounce back, setback or not. Remember, at the very beginning, I said not everybody can bounce back because bouncing back takes a kind of aptitude. So stay with Genius Hub. I would add to that by saying become hungry, constantly hungry for the right, underline the word right,
Hunger has come
the
again.
right knowledge.
It's my best
Be
language.
hungry for the right knowledge.
Mm.
As you finish one, get another one. I pay for courses at least once every single year. I'm in one course or another. Making me better at the things that are required for my business, my destiny. Once in a while, you might register for one or two just out of curiosity, but try to make sure that everything you're registering for, you can see where it will take you to. Now, let me put a caveat. It might not take you somewhere now, but you see, knowledge is a resource that cannot be taken from you. You see, the only thing you really have that is your own. Now, wait till you know. Even the food you eat, one day you go shit on. But you see, knowledge, they can't take it from you. The worst that can happen is that you will forget small, but something can always trigger your memory. The brain, I studied human anatomy. The brain is made by God to keep everything you have learned since the day you were born. Under the right circumstance, you can trigger remembrance. That's why sometimes you see somebody and they say, what about this thing? You say, I knew this thing before, but I've forgotten. I will remember. Just wait. This is what is today? Friday. I'll remember. Then Monday afternoon, when you're about to swallow one, but you will just remember the thing. This thing they asked me on Friday. I've just remembered it now because your brain has all the information. With the right stimulation, it is called back. So specific skills, skill of hunger for learning. Oh, where is her question? It has disappeared just now. Skill of hunger for learning. Training programs are the programs that will be relevant to what you do per time. Understand training in finance and finance management, accounting, bookkeeping. If you're a small business growing, and even to a point, even when you now have accountants working for you, understand the numbers, be able to read a balance sheet. That's a very important for any business owner. Understand numbers of your business. Understand corporate governance, who reports to who, when, where, how and what you pay for taxes and to who. Those kind of trainings, please don't joke about them. Attend them, know them. These are the ones I would leave for now. But what was my first response? Stick with Genius
Yes.
Hub. Because Genius Hub is constantly evolving and getting better. And as they get better, they take us up. So let's stick with Genius Hub. The current
Okay.
fuel policy can be a setback to a lot of businesses. Yes,
Sorry.
please.
Before you answer this question, I just wanted
Yes,
to
please.
add to
I, I,
Joyce's
I wish you can blow
question.
up your screen now that you're speaking, please.
Okay. I just want to add to Joyce's question when she
Yeah.
talk about type of the kind of skills MSME should get.
Mhm.
One of the skills you can develop yourself in is self care. We need to
Mm,
also invest in self care, and self care, people are still looking down on self care because self care is powerful. Is a powerful way of also getting better and bouncing back. So, and there are different type of self care you can practice. Celebrating little wins is one way. Meditation, we need to practice all of this all the time. You calmly create time to meditate. So when you practice meditation, it helps calm your nerves down. Then massage. I like to say this all the time because you can't take away all of these solutions. So you need to be able to provide yourself self-care. So investment in self-care will help you. Investment in personal development. She mentioned a lot of things earlier, but this is me emphasizing this. Invest in activities that will build your self-esteem. Invest in activities that will build your self-esteem. Then emotional intelligence, we all need it. Don't say I read the book already or I already practicing it. It's never too much. And if you are too busy to get a book or to get a book to read on emotional intelligence, one thing you can do is to get the audio book. While you're
mm,
in the vehicle, while you are driving, you can listen to them. So these are the area where you can invest in. Get attend network events. Make yourself available to attend some of these events. But you attending this event will make you meet new people. It will expose you more, and it will help you reduce the pain that you are being through. So remember what she said again. Remember what our speaker said at the beginning of this webinar. Businesses do not bounce back, people bounce back. So a lot of tools have been shared with you today. Take your time to play with them. Take your time to practice them. And in all of this, you must be consistent. That is the truth.
yeah.
Fighting yourself to become best version is something you don't do by saying, it's something you practice. So walk the talk, keep doing it, and you keep getting better. Don't get
Mm,
discouraged. Remember, you are the solution to some of this. So please keep getting better. So
yeah.
we want to have our speaker back to respond to some of the question here. Joyce, are you
Thank
here?
you. Thank you. I'm right here listening to you, my sister, agreeing with
Okay.
you, nodding my head.
So you have the floor, please.
Thank you so much. We're sharing it. The current fuel policy can be a setback to a lot of businesses. How can we sustain and bounce back? Now, this is the question of the hour. This is the question of the moment. That's why I started by talking about the people who are bounce back able. Remember, I said not every business can bounce back, not every person can bounce back. Some will break first and they can be mended, some will bounce back. So, who are the people who can bounce back right now? Some people who have some cushion, some savings, some people who have learned how to prioritize over time. But I would also add and say the truth that there are some people, some businesses, no matter how much savings you had or how you prioritize, this can change a lot of things. So number one will be to stay calm. Stay calm, and that comes from all the tools that EC has talked about: meditating, affirming, ability to relax, maybe even praying. I don't see praying as different from meditation, even though some people can say, oh, praying is not meditating, this and that. But the things that we encounter in our minds all the times, I believe they are prayers, because it says he's the one that is able to do exceeding abundantly and above all we can ask or think, meaning to me that when I'm thinking, I'm also praying. So stay calm. Number two, ask questions. This is my business, because no two businesses are exactly the same. This is my business. What are some things I need to do to adjust? What should I cut? What should I focus on? This is when someone who owns a shop might take inventory and say, in the last 6 months, what 10 items have customers really been buying? I sell 48 items in my shop. I sell 76 items in my shop. But what are the top 10 movers? And you might realize that you have no business restocking some items here in cartons because people don't buy them. The ones, the stock you bought 8 months ago, they're still here. But guess what? You have been restocking, but because you've not been looking at the numbers. Now you might need to look at the numbers and say, you know what? From now till the next 3 months, the next 6 months, I will be selling only these 10 things because these are the things people come to this shop for. And when somebody comes, so let's say you sell, and I'm being very random. Let's say you have a shop, and in these 10, the 10 things you notice Indomie, and I'm sorry, I'm using a brand. You notice Indomie, you notice one kind of detergent, you notice another type of water, you notice one type of matches, you notice of those 10, and you just keep restocking these. The first one question, somebody will ask, if now only this 10 you go to restock, what's it going to happen when I call to buy the other one? Remember what I said, courage and the ability to deal with fear, which also comes many times from a place of lack of knowledge. When you don't know your top 10 and somebody asks you, why are you stocking only this one? You will say, I don't know, I go Genius Hub, then say, make me stock only 10. We didn't say make you stock only 10. We say you should do an inventory. Take it into account. So you might need to look into your business, see what is working. You might need to stop some part of your business. You might need to promote another type of business. You might need to merge your business with somebody else's business at this time. You might need to look for a job. There are some people who are running businesses right now that might need to look for paid employment for some time, just to give themselves ability to care, to say, you know what, let me bounce back, let me breathe. For the next 2 years, I'll go back to paid employment. Some of us are afraid to go back to paid employment because of what? Fear of what people will say. They go say, me, we don't run business for 6 years. Now go, they say, yes, sir, yes, sir. People go laugh me. What's my bloody business if people laugh at me? Do they know where my destiny is? I want to go back to paid employment so I can receive salary, commit to someone else's place, and rest for a bit, breathe, and then know where I'm coming back to. So you see, there are so many kinds of solutions that may come to different people, depending on you, where you are at the time, what quality of knowledge you have, the people around you, and it's a growth process. Allow yourself make mistakes. Allow yourself the pain. Don't say you're not in pain. Acknowledge your pain, but also allow yourself heal. Let God heal you. Forgive yourself. Forgive God too. Some of us also need to forgive God, because for some of us, we're angry with God for
Yeah, thank
allowing
you.
what is happening happen. There's so many things to say in the short time. I'm hoping that of all the things that have been said, at least one of them has been useful to you. Isi,
Okay,
over.
thank you so much. I want to quickly go back to the question beneath Film Academy asked. I want to add a little to what Joyce shared. One way to adjust is to embrace technology. I need our MSMEs to begin to embrace technology, because we know things have gone up, and you also need to also adjust. You don't have power over the policy. It has happened, it has happened. How do we communicate this to our clients? How do we create emotional value to our client and customers for them to see that beyond the money, they are seeing the value. So we need to start looking at embracing technology. For people who are doing buying and selling, you need to start looking at e-commerce. We're not going to teach that here, but we'll create one day and see if we can teach that. How learning management system. In fact, there are quite a number of technology we can adopt at this time. It will reduce our overhead. It will reduce our overhead. So we need to embrace technology, and we need to, in fact, invest in technology, invest in renewable energy, green energy. Let's start to look at that. That's why I say embrace technology in every area. The policies has come. How can we navigate so that our clients do not see us as people who are not responsible? Remember when redesign of Naira also came up, a lot of businesses suffered. But the ones who adopted technology, the one who adopted mobile money, the one who adopted fintech, who were not afraid that fintech do not have insurance, they adopted it and they really did very well. That is the same advice I'm also giving you now. If you are that MSME, begin to look at tools, digital tools that will help you bounce back, that will help you sustain your business. And this is me advising you now. Begin to think of digital products. Begin to think of digital products because, of course, that's sustainable. 20 years, 100 years, they're there. And you can continue to make good money from those digital products. So this is me telling you, take advantage of this. If you need help, you want us to help you build a sustainable digital product, reach out to us. We have a good studio that can give you the quality of video you need. So why not reach out to us where we'll help you monetize your digital products? So you have the floor, Joyce, to answer the next question. Can we go back to the other question, please? If you are learning from us, can we share? Obey, can you please drop something on the chat box, like a summary of what is going on, so that
Thank
people
you
can
so
also
much.
learn from this? Go ahead, please.
Said in this jackpot era, how can you convince young business owners that have suffered setback to be focused and work towards bouncing back? So the first question I'll ask here is, why are you trying to convince young business owners to stay focused? Are you a coach? Is this your mission? Like is this something you really want to do? Are you asking us how to convince people to stay? I'm no longer in the business of convincing anybody to stay back anywhere. I'm in the business of convincing or encouraging people to be your best, because I know that a lizard in Nigeria cannot be an alligator abroad, because you will meet setbacks there wherever it is you go. You will meet challenges. So it's about being your best anywhere you are. If you want to go abroad, please, by all means, go the right logical and legal and moral way so that you don't become a statistic for IOM. And then CC and her people will come and do rehabilitation program for you.
In
No,
fact, that is also key on this program. So we say
no,
no to human trafficking. We say
no
no
to
to
human
irregular migration.
trafficking. Say,
If you need to
anyhow, it go
travel,
better.
travel
They say
right.
in 6 days we will get to the Europe. Brother, sister, you have seen the stories. You might end in one country where you become what we don't know and you'll be trafficked. They will tell you, oh, from here you will enter bus will take you there. No, 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 no. If you don't have your papers, because even to jackpot is not a cheap thing. You need millions of naira. Either you're going for school or you're moving by investment. Please, if you don't have it, stay here and do the hard work of staying. Guess what? I don't know what in this life is easy, oh, even to thief. I can't. Please, if you know anything in this life that is really easy, tell me. There's none. To the best of my knowledge, even common entrance is hard. At least it was hard when we were writing. It is hard for those who are writing now. Everything always requires a level of work. So rather than trying to convince someone, I would rather ask why people do what they do and where they want to be and how joyous and joyful. And I'll ask, is this thing you're doing working for you? And if it's working for you and your conscience is clear and you're okay, then you're okay. I met someone a long time ago who was supposed to be like a 419 person. What do we call them now? Yahoo, Yahoo. And I said, if you say that this is working for you and you are okay, then continue. You'll be all right with your conscience. If you are caught one day and it ends your life in jail, in prison, deal with it and be content even then. That's, for me, that's the most important thing. I'm not even too worried about it's own your truth and stand on your feet for it. That's me. That's my personal stand. Setbacks are global. Ask people in Ukraine. Setbacks are global. Ask people in Greece. Setbacks are global. Ask people in California. Right now, I think California has the highest crisis of homelessness ever, because they always have one fire here, one this there, bad governance, this one bank is going bust here and there. See, setbacks are global. Ask people in Ireland. I think by the time we put some of these things in perspectives, we would also come back and say, why do I want to do what I want to do, and what is the best way to get there? Knowing also that success takes time. Success takes time, regardless. No matter how well intentioned you are, a woman who is pregnant has to wait 9 months to give birth. You can't say you're tired at 4 months and so you're done. Success takes time. There's a gestation period for every kind of business, depending on what it is you're doing, where and when, and who you are, and the quality of your content. So staying focused is actually a personal decision, and the kinds of skills you will get. That's why I said stick with Genius Hub. Stick with Genius Hub. Stick with the people who can give you the right kind of quality, right kind and quality of information for you to grow and evolve. Uche, I hope this answers your question on a level. Don't try to convince anybody. Just do your best for you and ask the questions that will help us evolve. Isi, I'll hand over to you for now. Am I frozen?
No. I saw a question earlier that someone asked about livestock. So
Okay.
I'll scroll to
How
it.
or in what way will livestock business be bounce back after the setback of crisis that might take a lot of money without capital? Mr. Babayemi, Babalola, I'm not sure if it's a Mr. or Mrs. or a Miss Babayemi. I am not sure. There are many questions to ask. Where is this business located? How much is in store? Who are the people that you can collaborate with around you? What are the other options for the time being? What is the next best thing that can be done? Are there people who are willing, able, and ready to give you money by way of credit or grants? You see, I can't give you one solution. I can give you more questions that would help answer depending on who you are. How many people can believe, how many people right now believe in you as somebody who is credible that they can help? That sometimes you want to help somebody, but because the person has shown you shaggy in the past, you run away. So are you the kind of person that people want to help? Have you been able to build that kind of personality or credibility over time? Remember, I said not everybody can bounce back. Are you a bounce backable person or business, meaning what has happened in your history up till now? There's some people that have no problems crashing, because the moment they crash, they know that there are many people that can help them because they have built deep, great relationships over time in the past. And so it's beyond money. Some suppliers will say, you, Babalola, I know you very well. You, if not be saying fuel crisis and all of this, I will give you on credit. Take 1 year, pay me back. Take 6 months, pay me back. Pay me back with only 5%. So these are deeper questions I would ask. If Isi would like to add to them, Else,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to give a one size fits all. I will give you questions to ask. Please, it's over
You
to
know,
you.
the
Okay,
Baba
okay. Just
Yemi
wanted to
Adewumi
say
Babalola.
hello.
Hello.
Hello. I just said before you answer that, we have some giveaways to keep us really agile and still alive here.
Yay.
So we will call out a recharge card number now. I want to see the fastest fingers. So go on, Mrs. Sisi
Woo!
Member.
Okay. So, like I was explaining, the question earlier asked is quite sensitive. And, you know, before I ask that question, this is me advising us now as MSMEs. Let's learn to insure our businesses. You know, some of us, because we have not been able to put policy, the system, the structure in place, the right system and the right system and structure in our organization is also a major setback, because it's a setback because you cannot attract opportunities, and we are countless opportunity that are out there for MSMEs. You can't attract them. So now this is another opportunity for us to ensure our businesses. That is one. Now, bouncing back, it has happened. How do you
Yes.
bounce back? The advice I would give, there's two ways you can go about it. You can take advantage, do a video of what has happened, and also see how you can get good funded. It may sound simple, but it has worked. That is one. Let people be aware. Do a storytelling of what has happened and put it out there.
Yeah.
In fact, during COVID, during COVID, after COVID, that was how people bounce back, because people shared their stories. People who knew how they were before could relate that these people really need help. That is one. Then two, begin to apply for opportunities. Begin to apply for opportunities. So one of the questions they may be asking you, why do you need this support? Why do you need this grant? Why do you need this loan? But if you already have a system and structure in your organization, the corporate governance we have been talking about will
Mm.
come major tool as an evidence that you were at this level. This is where this is where you are now. Because then it's an evidence-based kind of results. You have worked, this was your cash flow. You have your statement of account. The statement of account have a narrative. You have your audited account. So it is easier for the donor or the supporter or the sponsor or the funder to look through and say, this person have a track record of he or she was doing well at a time. This person genuinely needs our support. So you will all see that some of these problems are problems we also need to start beginning to provide solution by ourselves. Some of our MSMEs, we don't have system. You don't put system and structure in place, you can never attract any opportunities. I say this every time. Standard of operation of running a sustainable business have to do with your system. So these are some of the solutions that I know will provide you capital to bounce back. You see that the way the answer went, person talked about your system, talk about your structure, talk about insurance. Some of us will say, which insurance? But the truth is that they are actually not expensive. Trust me when I say this, because I'm talking from experience. They are not expensive. They are not. So these are some of the tools, tips that you must adopt as business owner. Business owners, we have a lot of issues. Some of us start businesses, we don't have business, we don't even have product knowledge of our business, and you don't even know how to navigate when there are setbacks. But this is me saying, get all the knowledge you need. Get all the knowledge you need to grow yourself, to grow your business. Because for business growth and scaling, you need to develop yourself. Develop your team. Your team need to be developed. Your team need to be developed. So it's not just you, because it's not about you. Look at Coca-Cola today. I love to use them as an example. Because the truth is they have a business model that has worked. Please go and study the model. It makes a lot of sense. Because they have everything. So it's like they already have solid system in place. If you need that system, you need that structure, reach out to us at Genius Hub. We
Yeah.
can provide you that solution. And that is one solution that will attract you to fundings. You will not be missed out from any opportunity. That is
Yeah.
the truth. When you hear people say, oh, Genius Hub got this contract, oh, Genius Hub bid there for this project, oh, Genius Hub got this, the truth is the system and structure that has attracted us to those opportunity. That is just the truth. And the
Very
truth
true.
is, you don't need to have any connection. Just do a good job. That good job will become a major tool for getting bigger jobs. But keep your evidences. Let your evidences be evidence-based evidences, because that is a major tool for getting major jobs. Some of us do not understand procurement process. We'll talk about that in our next program. We're going to bring in someone from procurement agency to open our eyes to the opportunities around procurement in order for us to run a successful business. So let's give the floor to our beautiful, sweet sister who have spent quality time sharing our wealth
Thank
of knowledge with
you.
us. Thank you. We
Thank
can't take it for
you.
granted. So we see how some of the question here. Someone is asking you a question here, so you can go ahead, please.
I think you've already touched on this question about leveraging technology and digital tools to enhance resilience and bouncing back. So, first of all, we need to categorize the needs we have. The financial tools, whether it's for invoice generation, bookkeeping, generation of balance sheets. It depends. Decide your need first, then ask questions about what tools are available. Some of us need to know how to become more convincing in marketing and selling. There's even Google, where you can Google how do I sound more convincing. There's of course Chat GPT right now that a lot of people are using. How can I write better copies that I can use in my broadcasts, for my WhatsApp broadcast? When we talk about technology, sometimes we think too far. I want us to come home. How can I schedule a broadcast twice every week to every contact on my phone on WhatsApp? And what will I say that will make them want to even look at this, my product or service, closer? That's where you might want to use Chat GPT to give you the kinds of copies that you, and when I say copies, I mean write-ups that you can share. How do I tell people what I do and how they can buy from me, right? How do I disseminate information to all my past clients? What now? There are these things we call what do you call them? Email, CRM, customer what management, customer, those tools like monkey, what do you call them, monkey something monkey, oh my gosh, all these tools, because I've had people who do these things for me. I've forgotten the names for them, where you can use to store people's emails, so you send them emails monthly. You have those tools. Recently I saw an advert. Somebody was advertising a tool where you can save up an email up to 20,000 people and do so and so and so and so, and all you spend is about $6 every month only. Meanwhile, normally those things will cost hundreds and hundreds and maybe even thousands of dollars. So he was saying that he now knows this tool and he wanted to share it on a webinar somewhere. I just saw the advert and I left it because I didn't really need it at the time. But when I need it, guess what? I'm going to go and look for that webinar. That's why I say stick with Genius Hub. Because there's no how Genius Hub, for example, is that one-stop shop resource for MSMEs, that when they know of this new tool, if you're within the hub, you are a part of the family, then you will hear. Because guess what? Things are changing every single day. There is a tool now called Etiaba, to the best of my knowledge, Etiaba, set up by Nigerians. It's from a company called Kobo Accountants. They used to be my accountants for a long, in fact, they still are my accountants, and they handle my tax and all. And our payment was a very low fee per month. What they do is they work with so many MSMEs, so they're able to charge you little monies per month, as against hiring a chartered accountant, for example, for your firm. So now they have chartered accountants who work for many people. So the monies are low. Now they've even set up a platform. I think it's a web app. You go in, they'll tell you what and what things, numbers to impute. Maybe they ask you what numbers you sold. So you see, know your numbers. They might ask you, put this in, put that in. It will deduct, it will tell you what tax you should pay. They might even give you the contacts of where you should go. They are Nigerians trying to solve Nigerian problems using technology. My question, or my answer is, we keep asking questions. Stick with Genius Hub. Keep asking questions, and you keep knowing what and what are changing in the space. Before, you might have needed a whole studio of people to come in to help you record videos that you want to use to create online courses. Now, there are all sorts of tools that you can use on Android that are even free. Some of them you might need to subscribe 10,000 naira for something, something, something. Now, you might just pay for that thing on your Android or your iPhone. Use ring lights like the one I'm using here. Set up your phone, record that your tool, edit it by yourself, because some of these things have become so easy. What was it I put up? I put something in one. There was one app I was trying on a friend's phone. You put it here, you will just give it some instruction, it will create a whole video for you. These things are there. It's just to ask and keep asking. ChatGPT tools helping me work as if I had hundreds of stuff. Exactly. That's my situation now. So the good thing that technology is there is to ask what, where. Some, you can, even as simple as Googling right now, what tools can help me edit video like a pro, even though I have never edited videos before. Guess what? Answers will come out. It's for it to become a skill. What must you do? Practice, practice, practice until you know. So if it's videos you want to do, you want to start selling online courses, you want to understand procurement, like the person who's coming next week, stick with Genius Hub and stay tuned.
Okay, thank you so much. I just want to add a little. Someone asked about digital. We should give an example of digital products.
Okay.
One of the digital products that's everywhere right now is the social media network. Your social network is actually products. But the only type of product we can call it maybe content provider. We can call that. Then we have software that has been developed like Slack, like Trello. All those are collaborative tools that will help you work as a team effectively. We will have accounting software. All of these are digital products, like Sage, like ERU, like Bands. All of these are all various accounting software that are digital products. So how do you invest? How do you invest? If you need that question to be answered, you need to meet with us in Genius Hub, because you need to start to identify the areas where you want to focus on. Is it blockchain? Is it digital marketing? There are quite a number of digital products. Some people cannot even in fact, knowledge, monetizing your knowledge is even another example of digital products. So when you monetize your knowledge, you know how to do ads. Put it in a video and sell it. It becomes a digital product. But how do you invest in that? It means that small ring light can do that. Get a smartphone. You don't even need an expensive smartphone. Just set your phone camera and get little tools for everything and package it and give access to whoever gets it. And invest in marketing. And that is it. So there are quite a number of things you can invest in. If you say you don't want to create, you don't want to get involved in at all, you identify those who are already doing this as a business and you invest in them. But there must be documentation, there must be an agreement. Wow, that's been a very powerful webinar, powerful, educating conversation we've been having since. So for me, this has really helped me personally listen to Joyce share a word of knowledge. This is really deep. I know this has reminded a lot of MSMEs where they're coming from. But this webinar from Junior Sub is to help you scale. This is not to remind you of your pain. The webinar is to help you or scale. The
Scale.
webinar is to help you as an individual, the owner of the business, to bounce back. So this webinar is about your welfare. It's about your. It's about telling you that you can bounce back. It's about
Yes.
reminding you of your aspirations, those aspirations that even led you to start running a business. Don't forget them. Go back to your drawing board. Go back to where you are coming from. Think about how you started. What was the solution that you saw? What was the problem you saw that motivated you to say, you know what? I want to solve a problem. Let that be a motivation for you. Be motivated by this webinar. And we believe that this webinar will inspire you to start again. And for those of us who are still moving, this webinar is a strength for me. It has given me more energy to keep pushing. So keep pushing, keep being the best version of yourself. Don't get tired. A no today does not mean that it's a no forever. One day, you will get all your approvals. So thank you so much for everyone who have taken time to join us. Please don't forget to share and follow us on our various social media platforms. We want to hear from you.
Okay, we want to know whether we have some lucky winners. We have been rolling, we have been scrolling some airtime, MTN, Airtel. We want to know if we got people who were able to load those airtime as you follow us on all our social media platforms.
What do you
Facebook.
think we have told us? So we are extremely grateful, really, really, really grateful for all of you, for all the participants across the globe who join us for this live webinar. We want to sincerely thank our resource person. We did not take your time for granted at all. We
Thank
sincerely
you.
thank you. Thank you
Thank
so, so much. Thank you
Thank you.
for making yourself available. Thank you for adding so much value to Junior Soul. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much. So we want comment session to be, just tell us what you learned. Tell us what makes sense to you. Tell
Whilst
us
they're
how we
doing
can
that,
partner with you. Reach out to us. Our offices are in Lagos. Our addresses will be scrolling now. We have offices in Lagos. We have offices in Lagos. We have in Kano. We have in Edo State. In Edo State, we have in Benin City, Auchi, and Uromi. Then don't forget to follow us on our LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Just follow us. If you have an idea and you want to be part of what we do at Genius Hub, please reach out to us. Would you like to be a guest speaker? Do you have an experience in running business, or do you have a story that you think can inspire other MSME? Are you an expert at all? Maybe you're an expert in bookkeeping. Maybe you're an expert in marketing. Reach out to us. We want to affect more lives. We are very intentional about the growth of the MSMEs in Africa. Encourage us to be able to do more. You showing interest in what we do will take us far. Please tell more people, share this video, keep sharing. Somebody will need this video. Oh, Baba Yemi got the recharge card. Thank you
yeah,
too. We are happy you got the recharge card. We're going to
yeah,
do a lot of giveaway. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Junior Sub team. You are the best. In
you
fact,
are.
it's not easy working to improve other people's life. Honestly, it's really not easy. it is not easy. So I pray God honor you all the time. I pray God bless everyone that work in junior. So God bless you all. God lift you up always. God grant you your heart desire. Honestly, we are saying thank you. Thank you. Thank you for all the support that you give to the success of Genius Hub. And thank you to all our partners. Thank you to all our clients. Thank you to all our customers, our participants, our beneficiaries. Thank you. Thank you for trusting us. Thank you so, so much. Have a lovely evening. Have a lovely weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Use this weekend to wine. Use this weekend to for self care. Use this weekend to enjoy. Use this weekend to rest. Use this weekend to cool off. You know, just get yourself anything that gives you joy. Is it a movie? Use this weekend to do that. Is it massage? Use this weekend to do it. Is it enough sleep? Please get some rest. Thank you so much, Obey. Thank you very, very much. God bless you. Bless everybody on the team. Thank you so, so much. Thank you, everyone. I can't continue to call name. Thank you so, so much. Thank you so much. So we have to leave now, but we go now. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. We don't know whether anyone got the Glow, the Etel, and the Etisalat.
Okay, I've seen Esther Thomas saying thank you so much.
Yes.
I don't know if she's the one that got the recharge card.
She's one of our teachers that we trained from IOM.
Wow. Our teacher that we trained, thank you for joining. Thank you. Please keep doing your work. Keep sharing. Keep being your best version, ma. Thank you. Oh, see our lovely people. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Godfrey. Thank you. Oh, Amina. Thank you. Thank you. Osas, thank you. Sister, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Oh, Ivie, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Babalola. Thank you so, so much. Oh, Babalola also got the glow.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. He got the glow. It's your day.
You got the recharge card. Nice one, nice one, nice one.
So we
thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely night rest. Happy weekend again. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
I'm a potter, sir.
And you, Acadian, what is your profession?
Sculptor, sir.
You?
Blacksmith.
Spartans! What is your profession? You see, old friend, I brought more soldiers than you did.